Okay, our meeting is on Farm to School is being recorded right now. We're going to get going with the presentation. My name is Dan Cornelius. I work for the Intertribal Agriculture Council, and today's webinar is going to be focusing on the Farm to School program. So I'll turn it over to Samantha. Sammy there?
Hey Dan, this is Matt Russell. I'll send her a message, let her know that we can't hear her, okay?
Okay.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
There we go. Thanks.
Yeah.
There you go, Sam.
Thanks.
She's back.
I'm back. I had it on mute. So I'm Samantha Benjamin Kirk, Cyril's Farm to School Regional Lead with USDA, and of course that was Dan just talking with the Intertribal Agricultural Council, and Pam Kingfisher. She's the South Regional Lead with the National Farm to School Network. And this is a collaboration between all three of us, all three of these agencies, trying to bring farm to school programming into the tribal communities. So our agenda will start with a very brief overview of Farm to School, followed by the National Farm to School Network. We're going to also enjoy hearing some tribal success stories from recent grantees who received Farm to School grants. And then we're going to hear from our wonderful Matt Russell. He's the Farm to School grant manager, and he's going to talk a little bit more on the application process and procedures. And then we're going to have a Q&A. So with the Farm to School, so the Healthy Hunger Freedom Kids Act of 2010 really sanctioned the Farm to School program within the USDA, and it was pretty much to disperse grant funding for improving access to local foods, in addition to providing technical assistance and improving access to local foods in schools. So when people think about Farm to School, you think about local foods and education with the students. Know your food, know your farmer, but actually the Farm to School program extends way beyond that, and it encompasses early learning childhood centers to include summer feeding sites, adult care, so it's more of a local food community resource, not just focusing on local food, just schools. So Farm to School pretty much connects the dots. So when people think about Farm to School, they think about several components. They think about local and regional procurement processes. They think about school gardens. They think about food and agricultural curriculum, in addition to education, farm tours, cooking demonstrations, and testing. But what it does, it connects the dots between a community food system that supports local food systems and improves the quality of life within a community and provides economic balance. So not only do students and communities learn about where the food comes from, how to grow food, but it also provides them with the healthiest food possible, coming from local producers, including both traditional and cultural food items included in Farm to School programming. It seems as if so when you think about local food, you think about Farm to School, you think about the summer feeding programs, the child care centers, the schools, where do they get their food from, what is considered local. They can get it through distributors, food service management companies, food processors. They can get it from individual producers, food hubs, school gardens, so they can grow their food. So I'm not going to really go over too much about the Farm to School grant because Matt's going to cover that a little bit later on. But I would say this, since 2013, we have funded 221 projects, 49 states, D.C. and the Virgin Islands. Recipients have received altogether $15.2 million. So there's really some great projects out there currently. Now, how does that look in the tribal community? So out of those grantees, there have been 7 planning, 4 support service, 1 implementation, and 2 event and conference grants. A great resource to find out what's going on in your community is to check out the census. The census will be able to provide you with data on who is actually doing Farm to School programs and who wants to do Farm to School programs. I think somebody clicked it. It kind of went. So, okay. So what the information we were able to receive from the tribal community from the census data was that from 38 responses, 38 tribal communities responses that said that they were doing Farm to School, and I'm trying to think, 8 schools actually had Farm to School programs, and 9 schools have planned to begin Farm to School programs. So those programs include anything from local procurement, school gardens, and field trips, taste testing. Another great resource is to make sure you visit our website, the USDA, and sign up for our USDA Farm to School newsletter. You'll be able to receive all the information on upcoming webinars that we host, in addition to when our grants will be released, in addition to a lot of success stories. So from here, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, this is our regional lead. So we have a regional lead, a regional Farm to School lead in each region, and this information is also posted on our website, and they will actually be able to help you along with our national staff that are available for additional resources. So now I will move on to Pam Kingfisher with the National Farm to School Network, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about their organization.
Osio Tahiju. Hi, everyone. I am an enrolled member of the Cherokee Nation in Northeast Oklahoma, and I live on my grandmother's allotment land and just grown up around farming and love food, and I know all us Indians just believe in it. So a little bit about the National Farm to School Network. In 2007, over 30 organizations came together to shape the Farm to School movement. And at that time, there were just a handful of schools even thinking about local produce. So this, the National Farm to School Network is a virtual hub that serves for information, advocacy, and networking for communities working to bring local food sourcing, food, ag education, and, you know, it spans into science and a lot of other things, but into the schools and preschool. So part of our structure, as you see, is really a loose way for information to move from the local level to the national and all across the state and regions. As Sam said, I'm a regional lead for 5 states in the South. That includes Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. And I also work with some of the tribal schools in my community within the Cherokee Nation. So we have 8 regional leads around the country, and that's nonprofit, State Department, or universities serving in that position. And we generally network and really help the state leads build their networks within the state at their level to reach those state agencies, universities, and schools at that level. So we have 51 state leads and probably about 8 to 10,000 just network members. It's a free network. Our website is www.farmtoschool.org. Sign up for the newsletter. We're always sending out information about grants. Last year, we were able to add a Native Communities cohort to the mix. We knew we weren't reaching deep enough into the communities, and we had a funder who really cared about making sure Native communities were involved. So we were surprised. We had, I think, over 45, 50 applications, and this was not for a grant. It was simply to come together with the network and to learn. And so we were able to bring 11 communities, 3 people from each community, to Austin, Texas last year. We learned about the challenges, especially around administration and tribal government turnover and keeping that buy-in. It's really tough in Indian country. Procurement, especially around traditional foods. The gardens and greenhouses is just an issue that is around volunteers and the seasonality of our growing. And then just general questions. 101, how do I get started? Where do I start? So as Sam said, in 2010, it was really a big deal that the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act was passed, and that created this grant program within the USDA. So we feel really pretty proud of pushing that rock up the hill. In 2012, through the census of the USDA, we know there was then approximately 40,000 schools in all 50 states. Currently, we just put out farm-to-school legislation research for 2014, and 22 states passed farm-to-school legislation. So that's a really exciting piece. And I'll just quickly say we are now working on the Farm-to-School Act of 2015, and this is the reauthorization of the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. So to reauthorize that money, we're asking for it to go from $5 million in grant funding to $15 million, so that we keep Sam really busy and out of trouble, and all of you all can start getting on the train with some of these grants out of the USDA. There's 4 specific asks in this. We have a bipartisan Congress putting this forward. There's 2 House bills there you can see. Right now we're asking for organizational and individual sign-on, and Republican representatives, congressmen that you know that speak to, everyone eats. This is important to everyone. Everyone's concerned about the children's health and nutrition. So I'll stop there and go back to I wanted to tell you some of our success stories that we will be talking about here. And we will hear from some tribal successes with the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians, Dr. Steve Murray, the Circle of Nations Boarding School, Lise Erdrich, the Star School, Luva Montour, and the Intertribal Ag Council, Dan Cornelius. So on to the next person.
Okay, this is Steve Murray. I'm a planter with the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. The Choctaws are a federally recognized tribe in Mississippi. We have about 9,000 members living on the reservation. 8 communities. We've got a school system that has 6 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and a high school, and about 2,200 students in those schools. Most of the tribal members are bilingual, speaking English and Choctaw. Question, do I, okay, yeah, there we go. This is our tribal communities are spread across about 6 communities up in the hills of Mississippi. East central Mississippi, about 100 miles from Jackson. Next slide. We got a planning grant last year, and our process was pretty basic. First, we formed a planning committee of about 8 people. Then we identified what foods the school food service would purchase. After we did that, we had to start searching for suppliers of locally produced foods. And we have a Choctaw Fresh Produce Initiative, which is our tribal farm. And the planning committee members wanted to source as much as possible from the reservation, from the farms. Although Mississippi is a rural state, there's not a lot of commercial fruit and vegetable production in the state. Most of our farming is row crop with corn, cotton, and soybeans, so we had to look real hard. This is just one of our trailers that we use to move produce through the communities. We have 15 high-tunnel greenhouses, and they're scattered in each community. It works real nicely. Next slide. This is Samantha in one of our greenhouses last summer up in the Boca Chita community. Turns out that most of what we produce is tomatoes because everybody around here eats tomatoes. Next slide. Having the greenhouses in each community means that they're close to the Head Starts in each community and the elementary schools in each community. So this is going to make a tremendous opportunity for teaching and learning here.
Okay,
Next slide. We in each community, we've brought the students from the elementary schools out to the greenhouses so they can see what's going on and learn about agriculture and nutrition. Next slide. One of the wasn't a hard thing to do, but it took a lot of effort, was to get the food service staff communicating with the farmers. And we were fortunate and were able to do that, so it's working out real well. The local foods that we're going to use from Choctaw Fresh Produce, our tribal farms, we're going to have, next slide, cucumbers, tomatoes, squash, and greens. We'll have catfish, not coming from the reservation, but that's local anyway because there are catfish producers in the area. We'll have sweet potatoes, which is the most important vegetable crop in Mississippi, coming from one of the northern counties. And then in the fall, in the spring, we'll have blueberries. In the fall, we'll have muscadines. There are local farmers around here that produce those. We get some of the blueberries from the reservation farm. And in the summer, we'll have melons, watermelon, cantaloupe. And of course, I guess we have to count chicken as being a local product because this is the heart of chicken country. What's next? In April, we'll be seeing tomatoes and cucumbers from Choctaw Fresh Produce in the schools. In the summer, we'll be seeing cherry tomatoes and melons for the June summer session. Fall, we'll have muscadines and sweet potatoes. And we're working with other schools in the area off the reservation who are interested in the Farm to School program and just to see how it works. But we've been real pleased. It's been worth our effort. It's been hard. It's taken a lot of work, but it's something that's really going to benefit the tribe and the students in the future.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you, Steve. If folks, if you're not talking or presenting, if you could please put your line onto mute, that would be appreciated. You can do it either on your cell phone of hitting mute, or you can press *6 and it'll mute you on this line. Thank you.
Hello, this is Lise Erdrich at Circle of Nations. I have the food service staff here with me, and I'm going to have to turn the light on so I can look at some notes here. We're not a farm to school grantee, but we have some small scale success as a real small scale farm to school project. We are just a off-reservation boarding school, and we serve up to 150 students, and we're a 24/7, 9-month program, except for a little break at vacation, Christmas vacation and summer. We have a real short growing season here. About 20 years ago, well, first of all, our school was established in 1904 as a self-sustaining school farm, and the agriculture program was phased out after World War II, and our farm acreage was declared surplus, so we now have about 50 acres left that we're doing small-scale kitchen garden and orchard on. We started doing some diabetes prevention, nutrition improvement, and student life skills programs with various small kitchen garden experiments over the year from 1995 on. We worked with the NDSU Extension, Richland County, and NDSU itself, and some of the extension agents and registered dietitians from the Family Nutrition Program worked with us in the academic and after-school programs doing classroom education, and then some life skills classes which the kids really liked, learning how to cook and make healthy snacks and so on from 21st Century Learning Center time, Visions Tech Web Technology Challenge, and Title IX Indian Education, and some small random grants. As I said, we were not a farm-to-school grantee, but we were the pick for North Dakota for a $750 grant to do farm-to-school month in October. About 2012, we were awarded Green Ribbon School Healthier U.S. School Challenge Gold Award and PEP grant, and those all have in common physical activity and nutrition improvement and using local sustainable food systems. We received a salad bar from Let's Move Salad Bar to Schools, and we were able to use our school produce in the salad bar, which is twice daily, and also in the cooking classes and regular menu. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can
yes,
hear you,
we
but
can
yeah, sounds good.
All right. So, and some of our partnership agencies, NDSU Extension Master Gardeners and Junior Master Gardeners programs, we received a small grant, $750, to buy some bedding plants because of our short growing season here, so mature bedding plants. We have the Master Gardener program came on site and trained us. They waived the usual fee for the course, which is $150, and they came on site and delivered the course, and then the participants could do 48 volunteer hours to earn their certification. That's the North Dakota Master certification. So we want to sustain our progress that we have had so far, and so we're interested in the Tribal Farm to School grant. On Saturday, we had students at NDSU Ag Day field trip. We have our PEP staff, Sherry, in here that took the kids up there for that, so that they know more about agriculture and food systems. And I think this time they got to go to the equine farm and the grains, and well, you could tell them, but I can't. Anyway, we have done a lot of things with the PEP staffing that we had helped us do a lot of these things, like the Junior Wildlife Club. So they learned about fishing, archery, outdoor wildlife learning sites, and so on. And we've had traditional foods and hunting, cooking classes here. We're a child and adult food care program. Most are free and reduced meal eligible National School Lunch and Breakfast program. We have a partnership with Intertribal Buffalo Council to supply bison meat from the Sisseton-Wahpeton herd, and a partnership with United Tribes Technical Education Center, which is a land-grant college that has a very good nutrition and food service program. So one of the things about the PEP that we picked up again is to do the cooking classes using just things that we could obtain by donations or from our garden or orchards, and donations from farmers and people with apple trees. We would go clean off their apple tree or their cornfield. Ruby's Pantry is a rural food bank that we utilize. You donate $20 for a share to help cover transportation and distribution, and they give you mostly healthy food, and that's where we got all our pizza crusts from all year. And the kids like making vegetable pizzas. We use the Kitchen Garden, Great Plains Food Bank. Econo Foods, it's a local store, and it's a produce, it's employee owned, and it's our fresh fruit and vegetables vendor. It's owned by the employees. The owner, when he retired, turned it over to the employees, and I guess that was worthy of international news. And Pizza Corner is a Go Local North Dakota member, and it's a pizza factory. They have a restaurant and frozen pizza business, and the kids can go there if they're over 14 with a staff member and work for a fundraiser. You can also sell the pizzas. But we use the produce for healthier school fundraisers, soup fundraisers, Bake It Healthier, and so on. That's just an idea of some of the actual things that we've done around our campus garden program and some related initiatives like PEP, Healthier U.S. Schools, Green Ribbon Schools. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, and on the USDA blog, we were invited to be the guest blogger for November Native American Month. So that's on there, and it just talks about what we did with our Farm to School month in October. And it has a lot of links in it and so on, and explainers. So,
Thank you for those success stories.
okay.
All right. So next.
Hello, this is
Hello.
Elizabeth Montour. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, and just let me know when to advance your slides to the next one, and I will do that for you.
Yes, yes. Go ahead and advance the slide.
Okay.
Okay. In this picture, students are cutting local grown squash to make squash soup. We've created 15 recipes. Some of the recipes are standardized with the help of Ashley Shimke. She's the and we of the recipes we created in our days food we reached an average of our service. With Shamrock Produce Specialists, they helped us visit a Legends distribution in Phoenix during a summer wellness camping trip. Legends is an organic commercial greenhouse that grows tomatoes and cucumbers. And the students really enjoyed watching the daily routines of a commercial greenhouse. For procurement, we've signed an MOU with Shamrock Foods Company and also North Loop Family Farms. We've also received fruits and vegetables from Stern Produce through the DoD program. Right now we are working on receiving blue corn flour, pinto beans, and other foods from Navajo Agriculture Products Industry, NAPI. They've agreed to bring a truck out to our school. Next picture, please. This picture is of students planting chili inside a greenhouse at the North Loop Family Farms, and that's located on the Navajo Reservation. Before the USDA Farm to School project, we were already building a strong relationship with the farm by doing various projects with our farmers like service learning, and we helped with irrigating or planting, watering, harvesting. And although North Loop Family Farms is not a certified farm, they are making progress to get certified. I think it's the cost that's causing a delay. We use their crops for taste testing in our home economics classes, and we share food with staff or sometimes with our local Navajo elders. We also use their traditional foods for community events such as the Fall Harvest Fest or the winter program and some staff dinners. Next slide, please. Okay. Our middle school students planted rows of either tomatoes, leafy greens, beets, radish, or onions, and they took care of their rows. So here is the student trimming leaves off her beet plants to use for salad mix. We have 3 greenhouses, a hoop design, a straw bale constructed greenhouse, which also serves as a classroom building. And we have a new passive solar greenhouse. And we have 2 separate outdoor gardens with newly constructed cold frames with the help of a food court service member, Tyrone. So, and through our partnership with food court, Tyrone concentrated on our outdoor and indoor gardening. And he also helped us with the certification process. Tyrone also helps in our home economics classes and gardening to teach nutrition and gardening and taste testing. We recently celebrated our first harvest, and we use our own grown food in our National School Lunch program. We've also developed a manual, Foods for Navajo Schools. And then also, lastly, this project was a lot of work, but it certainly does have its rewards, like our trip to the White House. So, I hear hat. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Hello, this is Dan Cornelius with Intertribal Agriculture Council. It's really great to hear about all of the great success stories going on out there. Intertribal Agriculture Council had applied for a farm-to-school event grant last year, and we received it. So we're using that funding. Most of it is going to support inclusion of a farm to school component in our annual membership meeting, which is December 7th to 10th this year down in Las Vegas. We will have some scholarships available. We always have youth scholarships, and hopefully we'll have a few more this year. So, please keep that in mind if you're, if you're with the school and have some students that might be interested in attending. We generally have between 50 and 100 kids come down to our meeting, and we're excited this year to include more of the farm to school component. We're also using the event grant to support regional meetings. We have a Great Lakes Intertribal Food Summit coming up at Oneida, right outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin, from April 14th to 16th. We're still accepting registrations for that event, and we are looking to be including farm to school components in some of our other regional meetings as well. Grant to help to be spreading more awareness of farm to school throughout Indian country, and trying to highlight some of the success stories that have already been in progress, and trying to get more schools aware of some of the opportunities that are out there. So that's the basics of our event grant. So turn it back over to USDA.
Matt?
Yes, hi everybody. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Sam. Again, my name is Matt Russell. I am the grant manager for the USDA Farm to School Grant Program, and I'm going to give a review of the application process, the types of grants we have,
so
and
we will
we're going
be
to follow it and open up with questions. So
go ahead, Matt.
I have a lot of slides here that I'm
I
going
was
to
just
move
going to
through
say
pretty
we
quickly,
are going to be
and I wanted to include more.
Yeah, well, I was going to say we are going to be wrapping up, but if people are on the line and want to stay on for questions, we will be taking a few questions as long as Matt and Samantha can stay with us.
Last week, and we're working on getting
to ask a question, if you're
too. So
connected
to
the phone, all you need to do is just unmute your line and ask the questions. If you're online, if you can't connect your audio, feel free to type in the chat box.
All of our contact information is on the website, so if after this call you have any questions, you can connect with me directly or with Sam. So the authority and the purpose of the grant program. It was authorized in the Healthy, Hungry, Free Kids Act, which we've heard a little bit about, and it authorizes $5 million a year through the end of this year, at which point it will be up for reauthorization. The program is managed by the Food and Nutrition Service. And the purpose, according to the authorization, is to improve access to local foods in eligible schools through grants and technical assistance. So we're going to be focusing on the grant program here. Sam and our other colleagues provide a lot of technical assistance outside of the grant program as well. So Farm to School at USDA, some of the high points is that USDA considers Farm to School best practice as when it's an integrated approach. So what's happening in the cafeteria is supported and reinforced throughout the school environment, in the school gardens, in the classrooms. It's also inclusive of all types of local products. So we're talking about fresh local products or locally processed products, meats, vegetables. So the whole variety of products can be considered local and is a priority over the program. And the idea here is that ultimately our school children will have access to regionally sourced food on a daily basis. So on a regular basis, they'll have access to local foods. So that's kind of the overarching goal for the program. As I mentioned, it's important to consider the whole plate when you're thinking about farm to school and you're thinking about your applications, from vegetables to dairy products, meat and poultry. It really depends on agriculture in your region. So what are the grants for? The grants are for training, they're for supporting operations, planning, purchasing equipment and supplies, developing partnerships and implementing farm to school programs. These are pretty general categories, and you can see that we have, so we support a wide variety of projects. So who can apply for grants? It's eligible schools which are pre-K through 12 food authorities. that participate in the school lunch or breakfast program. Also eligible are state and local agencies, Indian tribal organizations, ag producers or groups of producers, and nonprofit entities. Again, the projects are intended to support projects, or the funds are intended to support projects that ultimately through 12 in the National School Lunch Program.
Any other questions?
But also the breakfast program, also child and adult care food programs, and summer food service programs.
Okay, well, I just want to give a big thanks to both Samantha and Matt, as well as all of our other presenters and everyone who took the time to join us today. We are going to be posting this recording on the Intertribal Ag Council YouTube channel.
Or hospitals,
Indian
or
Ag,
universities are not eligible.
Indian Ag is the YouTube channel, and we'll be sending out
so
information
some of the
on that and having
priorities
it
that we have this year
posted up
is,
on our website.
Include projects that focus on innovative procurement
with
strategies.
That, we'll be concluding the call. Thank you very much for joining us.
Products to your school. Also